We will now take a look at how battle mechanics play out in PsyWars. In Part 1, we learned about the types of PsyWars cards. In Part 2, we learned about basic gameplay. In Part 3, we will now learn the heart of PsyWars, how to do battle. Let's speak a moment about the ultimate goal of PsyWars. It is to defeat the other warlords and control planets. To accomplish this, you need to destroy your opponent's lab. At the beginning of the game, players will agree on the amount of hit points with which each lab begins. Hit points are the total damage amount that a lab can sustain before being destroyed. A recommended starting range is 20 to 40 hit points, depending on how much time you have to play. Your opponent will try to destroy your lab, so you will need to block their battle units from reaching your lab while also attacking theirs. If you cannot block or choose not to block a battle unit, your lab will sustain damage equal to the physical attack strength of a battle unit. You can keep score with either a pen and paper, or each player can have two 10-sided dice. At the end of the creation phase of a player's turn, a player may declare that they are going to attack. An attacker then has the option to place any or all of their replenished battle units and equipment cards into the battlefield in whatever way they would like. More on this later. We will illustrate the basics of PsyWars battle mechanics and an attack with a single card and a defense with a single card. For our example, the attacker is declaring that a Kyler cyborg will attack. The defender then declares how they will wish to defend. The defender could also choose not to block the Kyler cyborg, or they simply may not be able to block, in which case the defender's lab would sustain damage equal to the physical attack strength of the Kyler cyborg, which we see is 3. For our example, however, the defender wants to block the Kyler cyborg from doing damage to the defender's lab, and will use a Ladner Predator to do so. There are 3 phases of battle in PsyWars. Each phase has an attacker's move and then the defender's move. The first phase, Phase 1A, allows cyborgs to use their abilities at a distance. These abilities are indicated in the text at the bottom of a cyborg's card. In Phase 1A, the attacker cyborgs use their distance abilities and then are depleted. In Phase 1B, the defender cyborgs can then use their distance abilities and are then depleted. In Phase 2, the attacker can declare a cyber or psionic attack. If successful, the defender is disoriented. Phase 2B allows non-disoriented defenders to declare a cyber or psionic attack. If successful, the attacker is disoriented. The third phase of the battle is the critical physical phase, where battle units can be destroyed. In Phase 3A, the non-disoriented attackers can attack physically. If successful, the defending battle unit or units are destroyed and the attacker is depleted. In Phase 3B, non-disoriented defending battle units counterstrike physically. If successful, the attacker is destroyed and the defender is depleted. To clarify and simplify the 3 phases of battle, let's go back to our example and see how the battle phases play out. For this example, we will skip Phase 1 since the cyborgs will not launch their attack at a distance, and we will start with Phase 2, where the attacker declares if their first attack will be cyber or psionic. In this example, we can see that the attacker has a 2-2 cyber ability and a 1-2 psionic ability. The defender, on the other hand, has a 1-2 cyber ability and a 1-2 psionic ability. The attacker therefore has a slightly higher ability to win if the Kyler cyborg launches a cyber strike first. The attacking Kyler cyborg rolls a die which then modifies its cyber attack strength by adding its cyber attack strength to the die roll. The defending Ladner Predator rolls a die which then modifies its cyber defense strength by adding its die roll to its cyber defense strength. If the attacker's modified roll is higher than the defender's modified roll, the attack is successful, with ties going to the defender. If the attack is successful, the defender is disoriented. The battle then moves to the physical phase, where the attacker can physically try to defeat the defender through the same process with the red screen physical attributes. If the attacker's physical attack is successful, then the defender's battle unit is destroyed. Let's assume the attacker's cyber attack was unsuccessful. The defender now has a chance to counterattack. We identify the Ladner Predator's cyber attack strength, which is 1, and locate it on the battle matrix. We locate the Kyler Cyborg cyber defense strength, which is 2, and locate it on the matrix. This yields a minimum roll of 9 for the Ladner Predator to win the cyber attack. If the defender survives the attacker's cyber or psionic attack, they can then counterattack cyberly or psionically, the defender's choice. If the counterattack is successful, the attacker is disoriented and depleted, and the battle moves to the physical phase, where the defender can physically attack the attacker, but the attacker cannot counterattack since they are disoriented. The physical phase is where battle units can be destroyed. First, a non-disoriented attacker gets to attack, and if successful, the defender is destroyed. If the attacker is unsuccessful, the defender can counterstrike. This covers the basics of how battles occur in Psywars. We will now introduce a few details that you will encounter. In this example, we can see that the attacker has cyber abilities and no psionic abilities, while the defender has psionic abilities and no cyber abilities. In this case, neither can use these abilities to attack each other, and the battle moves to the physical phase immediately. Also of note, some battle units can alter their attack and defense strengths. In this case, the attacker can roll a die to determine its cyber attack strength, and the defender can roll a die to determine its psionic attack strength. These types of rolls are done after the attacker's and defender's cards are set for battle and cannot be moved. Stacking is when the attacker or defender puts a maximum of 2 battle units together. Stacked cards can add up their attributes for calculating their attack and defense strengths. For example, our stack has a physical attack of 3 plus 4, or 7, and a defense strength of 4 plus 3, or 7. Since each battle unit can have a maximum of 1 equipment card, a stack can contain a maximum of 2 battle units and 2 equipment cards for a total of 4 cards. There's something to note about this stack. The bottom card has cyber abilities, while the top card does not. If this stack is attacked cyberly and loses, the bottom card only, with any equipment card attached to it, will be disoriented and can only defend in the physical phase of battle, while the top card can still attack. This concludes the rules necessary for getting started with playing Psywars. A few parting thoughts. Beginners may want to search their deck and start with one of each creation unit in their lab. This accelerates the gameplay and will help you get familiar with the battle mechanics. There's also a variation we call the Brawl, where all cards in the battlefield are replenished at the end of every turn. This necessitates a different strategy in play. Psywars is an expanding card game, meaning we will have non-random expansion packs in the near future, beyond our initial decks. Finally, we hope you enjoy Psywars. We have developed it over 2 years, and we believe it will provide you with a tremendous amount of fun and enjoyment. Thank you so much.